Welcome to Vlogtober, everybody! Is what I would say if we were doing Vlogtober, but, you know, we're not. Although I do still have to defeat the simulation, so that's a thing that will hopefully happen this month. And in case you're curious, I don't think we'll have to worry about the simulation for a little while. Here's the thing, he came to Jeffrey for help, and no offense to him, but the way I see it, that was the simulation's last-ditch attempt. It means that he's trying to find help, outside help, and I think ultimately that's because he's finding this more difficult than originally planned. So from what I can tell from that, we have a little while before the simulation is actually able to do much. But have no fear, the final encounter will be here soon. Hopefully. But, till that happens, let's continue talking about Secret Garden.
Mary Lennox, you
I was
foolish
afraid
child.
of something like this.
Yeah, this song starts with a lot of shouting, so it's kind of difficult to choose where to stop that little snippet at the beginning. Because we have reached the final storm, and as mentioned way back at Storm 1, this is both literal and figurative. You may remember last week when Mary discovered Colin, and they had a brief conversation and Colin sang a song, and that whole thing happened. Well, it doesn't end particularly well, because Neville and Mrs. Medlock discover Mary with Colin and aren't happy about it. They yell at her, they make her leave the room, and ultimately drive her outside into the storm. So that's where this song begins. We have Neville and Mrs. Medlock yelling at Mary, as well as a lot of memories of the past coming forward. So we hear her father primarily, as well as a few other minor characters in her past. So when the song itself actually does start, we find that it is a reprise of Mistress Mary Quite Contrary from the very beginning, and It's a Maze. But It's a Maze is not the comforting song that it once was. It is highly unsettling, especially since it is combined with Mistress Mary Quite Contrary. And the thing about this combination is that it doesn't really sound good. It's just a cacophony of noise, and of course, that's the general idea. Because this cacophony of noise represents this final storm, both the literal one that Mary is running out into, and also the figurative one that she had just experienced. So yeah, it is crazy and hectic and unsettling, but it's supposed to be. And then finally, Lily starts singing, and it is this ray of hope and this ray of sunshine. Because after Mary runs outside into the storm, into the garden, she finds the door to the secret garden. So she has the key, and she has the door, and she has the hope, which was represented by Lily's, not really singing, more kind of humming the reprise of what she sang at the very beginning of the musical. Mary pulls out the key, unlocks the door, enters the garden, and we've reached the end of Act 1. So that's it for this week's song. Tune in next week for next week's song. See you then!